Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome back to my channel. Back with another one. Like I said, this is the Wolves v Spurs preview. Just finished watching Man United and Leicester. I predicted that right, that score, 2-2. But that's not for this video. That's going to be for the review show, which is dropping most likely on Monday or Tuesday. So let's get on to the nitty gritty. Let's get here and do what we're here to do, which is the big game for me. Wolves v Spurs. So it's only right at the start of my team. If we're being honest, the league last 2 games, nowhere near good enough. 2 defeats in the trot, back to back, like Drake. Nah. And the way we played as well, maybe the Liverpool game you could probably make a case, had a few chances, probably could have grabbed something. But if we're being real, Liverpool were by far the better team on the day. Jose was doing his park the bus, hit on the counter-attack football, which is understandable against Liverpool. If you go to Liverpool Anfield and try and open them up and play, they're just gonna hit you on that counter and just take advantage of all the space behind. And we can be going back to that the 2014-15 days when we were getting stat 4s and 5s. So I understand to an extent. But the Leicester game at home is unacceptable for me. We cannot be at home having the ball a bit fair, but we're not doing nothing with it. Against Leicester, we know what Leicester are going to do. They're going to do what we do, which is sit back and just spring on the counter. And you've got people like Vardy, Barnes, Maddison, Tielemans, Pratt, Perez, even their wing-backs, Justin and Castagna. They got players that, even Schmeichel's passing range is one of the best, I think, just behind Ederson at Man City. His distribution's really good, and they took advantage. They scored a penalty, silly foul to give away. But I'm not gonna knock Ori too much because he's been having a good season this season. And when we brought in Doherty, I was like, oh yeah, Ori is done. But to be fair, it seems that that's boost Ori to play better, and Doherty's looking not very good, if I'm being honest. And he gave her a penalty, obviously up steps Jamie Vardy. You know what he's gonna do, down the middle. Luis obviously didn't do his research, and he dived to his left, and yeah, go figure, down the middle. Didn't deserve nothing, we didn't create anything anyway, so we go down. Second half comes, few minutes in, Maddison scores a good goal, and to be fair, it's harsh to rule it offside, but I guess that's the rules, isn't it? But good ball, good first touch, bang, good finish. 2-0. Ref and VAR, well, VAR does us a favour, says offside. So I'm thinking, okay, now they're gonna wake up now. Now's the time to man up and play for the fans that were supposed to be here, but because we went into tier 4, they couldn't be in the stadium. And they didn't. If anything, it got worse. Then they went and got their second unfortunate own goal, but it is what it is. It's poor in the first place. They shouldn't have been in that position to rip the ball in and allow Vardy that kind of opportunity to try and head it across the goal. Now we're 2-0 down, and now I'm thinking, okay, now we're going to start playing now. We have no choice. But it's like they have a game plan, and no matter what the score is, they're going to stick to it. And that's exactly what they did. Everything was slow, sideways, backwards, pedestrian, slow, boring football, and I was not impressed. I think that's probably the first time in years, even we used to get slapped by Man City 4-0 and Liverpool 4-5-0. I think that's the first time in a long time that I had to just turn it off, because I said, I'm not watching this. This is just making me more and more mad. Like, we're at home. You know the fans are supposed to be there, but obviously because of circumstances, they can't be there. So you think the players would give them something to cheer about and say, you know what, first half was not good enough. The fans are supposed to be here, but they weren't allowed. So we're gonna go out there now, second half, and we're gonna give it to Leicester and make these fans proud. Even if we lose, at least we're gonna put in a shift. They didn't put in a shift. They're like those people that come to work, they do 4 hours, but they just don't do nothing at 4 hours. They walk around on their phone, doing anything but work. They don't do nothing. Just walks around and get their bag. And that's what they did there. That's some part-timers that didn't want to be there. The heart weren't in it. And for me, that is unacceptable, and I weren't impressed. So as I said, I had to turn it off because I couldn't do it. And it's like, when it works, how Mourinho plays, obviously, if you're winning games, you're not going to complain. But there's got to be a time where you say, you know what, this ain't working. We're going to have to take the initiative and say, you know what, this ain't working. We're going to have to try something else and switch it up, because otherwise it's just going to be embarrassing. Now, in the old days, you have a game plan. The manager have a plan. You try and put that plan into action. If it don't work, then the players on the pitch are communicating, saying, you know what, the leaders on the pitch, and we don't have leaders like that anymore, clearly, and Tottenham definitely don't have a leader on that pitch. And I've seen it. I see it every game. Lloris is a captain. I don't know why. He doesn't talk. He commands his box well occasionally for corners, but sometimes he would just fly out and he would not get the ball, or he would just try and punch and just do something ridiculous. But other than that, he doesn't talk. He doesn't communicate anything. And back in the day, there was leaders that say, you know what, the manager said this, but that ain't working. So now what we're going to do, because we don't want to lose this, and this plan obviously ain't working. So now we're going to do this, and we're going to press there, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And the players on the pitch will come together and decide what they're going to do, and then they put that into action. And if it don't work, then fine. But at least you tried something different, and it might not have paid off, but you tried. So they can't say it weren't no effort involved. And to be honest, we don't have that in our team. We just stick to what Mourinho says, and that's it. If it don't work, then we just sit back and just keep watching it not work. We don't try and alter anything. And that for me is frustrating. And those last 2 games have shown that he has one way of playing football and it ain't working. Just like Arteta. People say that about Arteta. You could probably say the same about Mourinho. One way of playing, and that's it. But anyway, now we go to Wolves, who are on decent form. They beat Chelsea 2-1. All right, they lost to Burnley the other day, which was a little shocking, if I'm honest. They were awful that day, to be real. They weren't really at the races, so I'm not surprised. Burnley were well up for it and really physical, and turned out to be winners, and for being real worthy winners. So what Wolves turn up tomorrow is the question. We beat them last season at Molineux, which was a last-minute header from my guy. Salute to him, Jan Vertonghen. The last-minute header from a corner. Absolute scenes in the way, and in the rain. It was a horrible day, for being honest. But he popped up. Nice header, bottom corner. And we came out with the 3 points. Now, we know Wolves play nice counter-attacking football, and they press, and they got quick players. And our defence is not quick. So if we're out of position and we're playing the high line and they get in behind, it's pretty much game over. So again, we just have to hope it's the Wolves that played Burnley that turn up, and not the Wolves that played Chelsea. Because if it is, it's going to be a very interesting match. And I don't know how I'm going to call it. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to give my starting 11. And most likely, it's probably going to be there or thereabout, because I don't see Mourinho making any changes, apart from the Celso, who's obviously out through injury, so he won't be playing. But I'm pretty expecting pretty much the same team. So I'm going to go with Lloris in between the sticks. I'm going to have Uri on the right. Then I'm going to have Alderweireld, Eric Dyer. Who else can I have in the middle part of the three? Probably, I don't really want him in there, but I'm going to have to throw him in there. Ben Davies is the back three, but he'd be on the left of the three, Ben Davies. And obviously, you're going to have my guy Reguilon on the right as the right wing back. Then I'm going to have a Højbjerg. Need Højbjerg. And listen, Højbjerg's been... he's an unsung hero at the club. Let's be real. Few people that know mention it, but people are talking about Son and Kane. But for me, Højbjerg has been our best player. He is in that midfield, he does his job, he cleans up, he's a leader. Maybe he should be a captain, because he's the only person I see taking the game by the scruff of the neck and trying to lead by example, so maybe he should be captain. But he's only been at the club, this is his first season, so maybe that's why they're like, nah, you can't be captain. You need time to settle in, and we can't just take it off Lloris. But I think next season, he needs to be captain, absolutely, if he's not going to get it this season, because they're just giving it out to anybody. So Højbjerg I'm having there, and Ndombele is going to be in there. And I'm going to have Sissoko in there as well. So I'll probably have Sissoko and Ndombele. No, Sissoko and Højbjerg just in front of the defence. And I'm going to have Ndombele a little more advanced because he's come good. And when he's not playing, people don't want to say it, but you do notice that midfield is a little slow. He wasn't playing the other day, and you can see that he was needed. There was no transition from midfield to attack because he goes forward and he's direct. He's got skill, he goes through players, passes, puts nice balls out to the front three, and we didn't have that against Leicester, and that event, inevitably cost us the game. If we're being real, there's no creativity in there. So I'm gonna have him a bit more forward and a bit more advanced, and of course front three. Son on the left, Kane up top. This is where it's tricky. Bell for me is not. He's not Bell. He's not the Bell he was. All these injuries obviously had an effect on him, and now he's just nowhere near where he was or where we thought he was going to be. We thought he's come back to Tottenham. He's happy, he's smiling. We're going to get the Bell that we know, that we see from time to time at Real Madrid, but he's just done a disappearing act and he's gone. So I think he's done. So maybe on the bench at best. Bergwijn, not been good enough. Liverpool game, perfect example. 2 good chances, poor finishes. So, and other than that, it doesn't really bring much to the team. So I'm going to stick Lucas Moura on the right. For me, even though sometimes going forward it can be a little messy, a little bit, erratic at times, and give the ball away, a little too casual. But with him, he's going to work. He's going to track back. He's going to win the ball. Even with Lamela. I would have put Lamela in, but I don't know if he's fit. So I'm going to go with Lucas as part of the front three. So my team is Lloris in between the sticks, back three, Alderweireld, Dyer, Ben Davies, right wing back, Aurier, left wing back, Reguilon. I'm going to have my 2 holding midfielders, Sissoko, Højbjerg, just in front of them, and Ndombele, front three, Son on the left, Kane up top, and Moura on the right. And listen, this is a must win, because when we start, this is the time when the games are coming thick and fast, and you gotta be with it. You gotta be picking up points in this over the festive season. You have to. Between Christmas and New Year, those games you definitely gotta pick up points. So this is a must win for Mourinho. We can't be losing the 3rd game in the league. It's not acceptable. And I'm not one of the fans saying we're going to win the league. Because when you see performances that we've been seeing the last couple of games, that you can see that's not a team that's going to win the league. That's not even title contenders to me. Games that you should be winning and you're not, or challenging and you're not, because your rivals and the teams around you, you have to beat them. Just like you got to beat the teams that are in the bottom, you have to beat the teams around you so you can maintain that distance and keep that gap. You don't beat them, then it sends you down the pecking order, and then now you're in 6th comfortably. But again, there's not much points between 6th and 4th and 3rd and 2nd. But with Man United and Leicester drawing, it's done us a favour, I guess, because that was Man United's game in hand and they drew it. So that's done us a favour, I guess, done us a solid. So it's up to us now to go and capitalise. Wolves are not near us at the moment. I think they're like 11th or something. So we've got to be putting them to bed. We have to now. We need to start winning games again. And starting from today, it's got to be done. Because who we got after this? Hang on, let me just check who we got next. We have Wolves today. And then we have Fulham on Wednesday at home. So yeah, we have to go on and win this now. No if buts maybes. We've got to go and get 3 points and start putting our foot back on their necks and making them not start to worry. Look, for me, realistic option, top 4, I'll take. But we need a trophy, whether that be the League Cup, FA Cup, Europa League, whatever it is. We need a trophy now. We put Mourinho in for trophies. First season, he came in in November, so I gave that one. That was a void season. So okay, you know what? This time for him to learn his team, get familiar. Next season's when it starts. That's when we need to win. And we got Brentford in the Carabao Cup next round, which is in a couple of weeks. So that's a must win in the final. And we got to win a cup to boost morale, hopefully, and motivate this team, because it seems like they need something, because at times they just look lost and just defeated. So fingers crossed we get that done tomorrow. And I'll be doing a watch along, so you see my reaction. I believe it's at 7:15 kickoff, so I'll be on live. You'll see my reaction, and I'll be talking at half time about the first half. Then after the game, I'm gonna record a review of the game, and that will either drop same day or that'll be there on Monday. But listen, I'm getting out of there. That's the preview done. Make sure you like, subscribe. As soon as you come in the video, you know the drill. You know how to go. You come in, you click the video, press like, press subscribe, and we keep it moving. But until tomorrow, when I do my watch along, I'm out of there, peeps. Peace.